Hey, Shalom, I want to start off souls by giving no praise to Yahweh Hashem, Yahshua, Hashem, and Kakadash. Double honors the apostles of GMS and honesty, brothers, doing the work and truth while sincerity. It's gonna power through this quick. We just gotta head back to work in like 13 minutes. But yeah, so I'm gonna get straight into it, right? This is Esther 1:13. It says, then the king said to the wise men which knew the times, for so was the king's manner towards all that knew law and judgment. And next unto him was Karshena, Shethar, Admathar, Tarshish, Merez, Marsana, Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face and which sat the first in the kingdom. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law, because she hath not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains? Right, so it looks like I started a little bit. Let me read verse 10 and 10 through, right? So it's on the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Bithsar, Harbona, Bigtha, Abagtha, Zetha, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, right, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look upon. Right, so basically, the king Ahasuerus, he was basically, look, man, I got a beautiful wife. Hey, bring her in. Let her, let everyone see how beautiful this woman is, right? Says, but the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. So basically, she's like, nah, I ain't coming. This, that, and the other, right? So to jump down to where we were, it says, what shall we do unto Queen Vashti according to the law, because she hath not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains? Right. So the king and his his boys, if you will, where they all having counsels like, what we gonna do? How we gonna rectify this? Right. And then one of his men said, look. And Memucan answered before the king, the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to all princes, and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, right? For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported, right? The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not, right? Because basically what they were saying, look, man, she's just set a dangerous precedent, man. Right? Basically, you're gonna have to come down hard on her, because look, we can't let this pass, right? Because then other people, the other people and their wives, right, what are they going to say? Their wives are going to be like, look, well, if Vashti doesn't respect the king, then why have I got to respect you? You ain't king, right? So basically, what Memucan here was saying, or it was, speaking wisdom, man, right? So that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus, right, commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered. Right, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. Right, and when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small. Because what would that do? That'll basically, make the other women in the kingdom be like, look, man, yo, Vashti, she fucked up with the king, man. And guess what? Hey, the king hit her hard. The king basically came in and did what, basically corrected her. So if I go do wrong by my man, look, he's going to take away everything I have, right, and then give it to someone else, right? And it goes on to say, right, says, and the saying pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Memucan, for he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, right, and that it should be published according to the language of every people, right? And then when you go into that further on, basically speaks about how he then arranged it so that he got more virgins right, that he could deal with, right? And they all got prepared and everything, right? And what would this have done? This would have set a precedent amongst all of the women, in his kingdom, basically to respect men, to respect their husband, right? And why am I bringing that up? Because that is the complete opposite to what we have here, right? Let me grab this precept real quick. It says Galatians 5:9. It says a little leaven of the whole lump, right? And this can be applied to in terms of what really it is wickedness, right? When you have a little bit of wickedness, guess what? It basically infects everything, man, right? So which is why Esau and the world that he set up to this day, right, where everything is upside down. Ooh, let's grab that. Ain't brought these ones out in a minute, right? So surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as a potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding, right? So basically, you're turning of things upside down. What's been turned upside down? The fact that a man is head of the household, that the man is the one who leads everything, right? Showing respect unto the man, right? That's Esau's done away with that, right? But look how important that this tenet was, this rule. Look how important it was that the king himself had to basically put away his wife, man. Right, and you said you read it there, you can imagine it's a beautiful Elamite woman. He's like, nah, man, I'm gonna put her away. Right? Why? For the sake of the kingdom, right? Because if he hadn't dealt with her as such, then it would have been seen among all people that they could get away with it, man. Right? Or, he basically would have, he would have satisfied himself, but what would have done? That would have dismayed the rest of the people, right? That would have caused issues for the rest of the men in his kingdom, man. Right? Let's grab this as well. So Isaiah 10:1, it says, woe unto them that decree righteous decrees, that right grievousness which they have prescribed, right? And all of these different legislations, uplifting the woman, putting the woman on some kind of pedestal, right? Those are unrighteous decrees, man. And you know what? In the time to come, the Lord's going to reverse all of that. The Lord's going to correct everything and put everything in its right order, man. Right, and that's one of the reasons why we can't wait for the Lord to come back. That's one of the reasons we hate this place, right? Because this place ain't for our good. Right, this is Jeremiah 31:22, right, which says, how long will thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth, the woman shall compass a man. Right, once again, this is what you're seeing, and this is how Esau's been able to push all of this wickedness upon the whole world. Right, it just goes. That's that same story, right? I forgot the individual who said it, but the apostles quoted. Right, these elites, they're not prolific. They just repeating the same thing over and over again. And in particular, this one is basically that whole story with Adam and Eve, right? What does the scripture say for Eve was in transgression? No, it's not what I wanted. 1 Timothy 2:13, right? It says, for Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression, right? So basically it was Eve that went off. What did she do? She brought those ideas to her man, right? And what does the scripture say in the book of Sirach, the 25th chapter, right? From the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Right, so basically Esau's been reusing that that formula of going to the woman first, right? Which is why you've got the the madness that you have in the world that you see, right? Because when you do that, guess what? These men become simps, right? You already read in the book of First Ezra, the 4th chapter, right? That women have power, so many have gone out of their wits for their sakes, right? So imagine now in the kingdom where everyone basically more or less having to chase these whores. That's why all of these men are all simped out, man. Right? Simped out because they're basically chasing. And what does that then mean? It basically means if you push an idea and an agenda to these women, these men will follow right behind it. Right? Just in tow. Right? So what else was I gonna say? Read that. Yeah, let me grab this. Right? It says Sirach 10. Right, it says this. It says a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Right. So, hey, like, once again, this was a wisdom here, because it was like, look, man, look, if we let everyone, basically go. And obviously, this whole story happened for the sake of, would you call it, sake of Esther being put up, so that to basically have, for the protection of the children of Israel ultimately, right? But I was, this particular point here is, you read it and it's like, right, okay, cool. This is how much order, right, meant. Which scriptures say this? Let's grab this real quick. I'm running out of time. Right. Scriptures say everything decency and in order, right? Come on. Let what? Okay. Of course, yeah. Yes, it's 1 Corinthians 14:40. Let all things be done decently and in order, right? So yeah, that's what we're what is the way of doing things the right way. Is everything should be done in order, man, right? But what does Esau want to do? Esau wants to sow disorder, right? Because through disorder, he can, what do you call it? He can have the minds of the people and control the people. Quickly, before I get that, let me read this particular one. Habakkuk 2, around 15 is 15, right? It says Habakkuk 2:15 says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, right? And that drink is talking about philosophies, and that's what Esau's been doing. He's been giving and pushing out these philosophies, right, to all of the different peoples of the world, right? He's been pushing out these philosophies so that what he can ruin them, man, right? It says that puttest thy bottle to and makest them drunk, and also that thou mayest look on their nakedness, right? So I'll read Sirach 10. I'm going to close it up. It says Sirach 10:1. It says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the rule of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. Right, an unwise king destroyeth his people, right? Because then that's what you're seeing from Esau with all of these different schemes of lifting the woman. That's a destruction of his own kingdom, right? It says, but through the prudence of them which are on authority, the city shall be inhabited, right? The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh, and in due time will set over it one that is profitable, right? Which are the Israelites, because in the kingdom of Israel, everything is going to be in order and in balance, right? Scripture says a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, right? No, why is it? Yo, in fact, let me just grab this, if I can find it. I forgot. Leave. Nah, I ain't gonna find it quickly enough. But basically, in our law, when when a woman gets divorced or whatever, what have you, quote unquote, right? She was basically meant to leave empty-handed. She was told she'd leave with nothing. But what, in Esau's kingdom, right? She leaves with half. She leaves, here it is. She was what? She wasn't with you in the gym, right? Shooting layups all day long, right? But Esau's basically designed it so that she comes out and she takes half your shit, man. But in the law, it wasn't so, right? But all of these things are gonna get corrected, and we're seeing the beginnings of that, right? As the Lord is slowly pulling the curtains down on this man's kingdom, right? More and more, you start seeing the Lord, correcting this behavior, right? So a man's going, go back to being head of the household, and hey, look, man, ain't gonna be no disrespect from the woman in the kingdom, man. Right. So as always, Lord, I was edifying. Till the next time, shalom.